Hello, welcome to Clairvoyant Conversations. I am Solreta Antaria. This is my second show on Spiritual Events Directory. The first half hour of the show, we're going to be doing a collective reading for everyone that tunes in tonight. So welcome. I can see a few of you just starting to come in now. So the first half hour of the show, we're going to be doing a collective reading for everyone that's tuning in. So looking at the energies of this current coming week and what we'll be going through. And also the second half hour, we'll be looking at individual readings. So make sure you have your questions. Hi, Sana. Nice to see you. Hi, Leanne. Good to see people popping in from all over the world and not just Australia. So what we're looking at for this week, I picked a few cards to kind of set the tone. And what I really started to feel, hi Tanya, hi Michelle, hi Zoe. What I really started to feel before tuning in to the show today, hi Liz, hi Shelley, was the energy of the moon. I really just felt that strong, beautiful feminine influence that the moon has. So we're just going to be doing the first half hour as a collective reading for the collective consciousness, and then we'll be moving into individual questions for the second half hour. So one of the crystals that I picked to join us here today is a moonstone wand. So really just feeling strongly the energies of the moon. So moonstone is connected with the feminine, it's connected with the feminine goddess, the mother. It's all about like rhythms and cycles. It's also about going within. And it's a lot to do with harnessing your personal power from the inside. So I did pick a few cards just to kind of like get us started and set the tone for what we'll be talking about today. But we will also pick, I will be getting to individual questions in the second half hour. We're just looking at some cards first for the collective and the overall kind of like snapshot or photo of what we're dealing with through the week. So remembering we do have quite a few planets in retrograde at the moment, and depending on like what your astrology is, you'll be finding that you're more influenced by some of the retrograde planets compared to the other. So we've got Brigitte, the card today, which is one of the goddess cards. So I'm really feeling her energy strongly. When I picked the deck, I still had the feeling of the moon that we were just talking about before. So it says, the goddess of eternal flame. I am the eternal flame, and each day my light grows brighter. So it really is at the moment about tuning in, and I'm finding this with a lot of my readings that I'm doing for, oh, hello from Canada. Nice to see you. I just did a show in Canada today, or over Skype. So what we're looking at the moment is really like tapping into that inner feminine, that inner core. It is about tuning into the emotions, because moonstone relates to the emotions and to the water. Noticing like how your tides are coming in and out at the moment. So you might have emotions that are feeling like 1 minute you're in one state of mind, the next minute you're sort of feeling down and needing to retreat, the other minute you're feeling up again. This is a time with Venus in retrograde to really like reflect on interpersonal relationships, romantic relationships, the relationship that you have with yourself. It's also looking towards the future and starting to create and manifest what you see as your ideal relationship. So it's an exciting time. It's not always the easiest time, unfortunately. But one thing that we can work with is the card of courage. So these are from my own personal deck that I've drawn. These are the Syrian star cards. So this says, trust in yourself, build courage, and keep moving forward. This is really, both these two cards are about flames. It really is so much about keeping your eternal flame lit right now. It's really about protecting that flame too, and making sure that you're not around others that are going to extinguish that flame or to, try and imprint on that flame. It really is having a little bit of tests and challenges at the moment. Yes, the moon does have some serious energy for you this week. It really, even though we are sort of like building and coming into this third quarter stage of the moon, building towards the new moon, we're still feeling the old, I think it was a Scorpio full moon that we've just come from. So we're sort of like on the climax side of that, and really coming down from that intense Scorpio energy. So looking into this watery type feeling. Hi Bailey, nice to see you here. So we're going to pick some cards, but remembering that this really is about keeping that inner fire, that inner courage. So thinking about what keeps your fire burning. It's really, really important at the moment. We'll be doing some individual and personal questions in the second half hour of the show. So let's have a shuffle and see what's coming up. Is anyone else feeling this energy of the moon? I saw one of you comment that you were feeling it as well. It really is. The moon is about intuition too. So even like writing down, like, what is your intuition telling you at the moment? Tuning in, checking in with your heart and your head and your gut and seeing what comes up. Okay, so we'll pick 3 cards. Just give it a shuffle. We've got 2 cards out. Yeah, it's very emotional work. So true. And also looking at the placement of where your Venus is in your chart. So going by Western astrology, looking at like where Venus is, what house it's in, and looking at the way that you relate to people in your interpersonal relationships. We'll be doing some questions in the second half hour of the show. Oh, thanks, Bailey. And we're just picking a final card to do with the energy to moving towards like the end of sort of getting towards a week from now is starting to feel a little bit more positive, even just when I'm shuffling the cards. Also with emotions, noticing if it's your emotion. So I really want you to get clear and specific. Hi Baron, nice to see you here. So really getting clear and specific. If you feel an emotion come up through the week, just tuning in, seeing where it's placed within your body, or whether it's in the emotional body, spiritual body, physical body. Is it an old wound? Is it a pattern from this lifetime? Is it a pattern from past lifetime? And asking that emotion when it first occurred there. This is really about like wringing out the towel, shifting and squeezing out the old emotions, making way for the new to come in. It's also about creating that template for the new energy to come in as well. So I've got my cards set out. We've got 3 to pick for this current week. And the way that I pick them is I have them face down. So we're going to be tuning into the energy of the cards. You might see me close my eyes to read them. We'll be paying attention to what the guides are saying too, and then we'll flip the cards over for confirmation. So I just find this way, the flipping of the cards and I guess like tuning into the energy and information before we look at them is really getting into the spiritual side. Flipping it over is really about looking into that human consciousness confirmation that we need. So I'll just tune into this one. So yeah, I'm really seeing like a lot of energy around the heart. The other thing that I'm seeing too is that color aqua, or some of my American friends call it aqua, coming up very strongly. This is an energy that I also felt very strongly drawn to today. You can see I'm wearing a little bit of turquoise and some aqua energies, and also a bit of aqua in my tea. So it's a nice butterfly pea tea. So yeah, it's really working with those beautiful blue energies. Blue is such a healing color. This is also the color to do with throat chakra. So what is it like word wise that you need to say? And also with the Venus retrograde, it's not the time to be, starting to let little irritations get to you. It really is being careful of a sharp tongue and careful of instigating arguments. And it's also a time to really kind of like draw back and be careful that you're not getting pulled into an argument or into a disagreement. It's kind of like the image that they're giving me is like a boxing ring and people going to their separate corners right now, having a little bit of a breather, having a drink, just sort of taking a pause and letting the energies kind of come up and wash away these emotions. Noticing certain patterns that are reoccurring, whether it's past life themes or current life themes, especially around relationships. This is the window of time for the next few weeks to be working on relationships. What is your ideal template? What is it that you really want to aspire to be? It's like downloading the template for how do you want to feel in a relationship. So really seeing, hearing and feeling what it feels like to be half of a beautiful whole relationship feeling. So it might be picking a relationship that you see as like your perfect relationship. So for me, it would be looking into the first one that comes to mind is like, say, Tony Robbins and his wife Sage. I really see them as a couple that is like working together. We'll be picking some cards in the second half and looking at individual questions for anyone who's just joining us now. So really looking at like, who do you see as an ideal couple? What does it feel like to be part of that energy and part of that relationship, and feeling that download into your template as though you're downloading new software into your body computer. So let's just look into this first card for the collective reading. So yeah, as soon as I close my eyes and tune in, I see the whole aura in green, which is all heart chakra at the moment. The other thing I do see is an angel standing behind, and the angel does have that blue sort of moon energy that we were talking about. I'll just see what else we're having. The other thing I'm feeling as soon as I touch the card again is be reminded of your sovereignty. So what that means is when you realize and recognize yourself as a sovereign being, you realize that there's some laws and some ways that we think that we have to be, but in reality, we are sovereign beings of light. So it's really looking at what this means to you. It's about taking back your power, taking back your control, also feeling that you're not caught up as part of a loop. It's about free will, it's about choice, it's about clearing negativity, it's about you knowing your rights. And this is not just in relationships, this is also going on to do with the whole COVID thing that's going around as well. So really making sure that you're in charge of your energy, your time, looking into that. And I'll just see what else we get. I'm just really feeling connected back to the breath with this card as well. And the other place it's taking me, when I start to breathe in and connect, I'm really feeling like that solar plexus energy, which again is about personal power, that's connected with our sovereignty too, looking at different areas of where you might be giving your power away, whether it's relationships, whether it's work, whether it's not dedicating time to yourself. All of this is sort of like a reoccurring theme at the moment. Hello everyone who's just joining. So let's flip this card and have a look at the start of the week. And this is really interesting. We've got this card, which is the card of strife, and I've seen this come up a couple of times with private clients this week. This is a reminder to connect in with your higher self. Again, I don't read these traditionally. This is why I am we're also doing collective reading for the first half hour, Michelle. So second half hour, we'll be doing questions. So please pop your questions in when we start to talk about individual questions. Someone else is saying, so true, it's important not to get too caught up in negative energy and letting that drag you down. This is so true. And this is the time frame and what we're currently releasing. And this is eons and eons of work that we've come to be at this point, at this particular window. And that's the way that my guides have been showing me this week. It's literally like we're looking in a window in time, because we are to step back and be a little bit more reserved at the moment. So yeah, it's looking at things from an inner window point of view. When you're looking at other people outside of yourself, it really is about connecting to your higher self, and doing things that make you feel really connected to higher self. So whether this is things that make you feel like you're raising your vibration, whether it's food, baths that have beautiful oils, that kind of thing, singing, things that are going to raise your energy, vibration and frequency are what we really want to be doing over these next couple of weeks. And I think I mentioned that last week, but really even more important for this week. And what that's doing, it's sort of like building, oh cool, I can see you're saying yep, Baron. Yes, this is for everyone, Michelle, and then we'll step into the second half hour being for individual questions. So what we've got with this, it's like anything that's not in alignment with you is going to come up as a little bit of an issue for this week. Some of you, I feel, are very empathic and have been picking up on this, and it may have been happening before we're talking about it now. So just know that you're sort of stepping one forward into that window before things are happening, which means you'll probably hit the next stage or the next cycle before a few of the others as well. So what we've got here is, for those that are tapping in and really connecting to higher self, there is a little bit more Kundalini energy and a little bit more guidance. So guides are sort of like popping in and saying hello. So connecting in with your guides as well at the moment is really, really important, especially connecting in and checking in with your little, like your spiritual network of friends, and really supporting each other and being able to be vulnerable in that space, I feel is really important too. The other thing that we do have in this card is when you sort of like hold your center and hold your focus with that higher self, you're taking back your personal power. You're no longer leaking energy out of your aura or giving away time and energy to things that you don't vibe with. So if there's things that come up at the moment, or things that you're asked to do, just checking in and seeing if that's really what your soul wants and what you feel drawn to do. So we'll move across to this second card. The second card, I'm really seeing the ocean, I'm seeing the tide come in, I'm seeing the influence of the moon and the other planets at the moment. Oh, good. That's so good to hear, Liz. So important to check in with each other and check everyone's okay. So really paying attention to the ebb and the flow of energies at the moment, because it is changing minute to minute, hour to hour. And this is where it's so important not to get caught up in other people's drama. If you find that someone close to you is having a little bit of a meltdown, it's really remembering to hold integrity within yourself, and not feeling like you're spiraling into their drama. So be that pillar of light like we had at the start. So that pillar of light, holding that inner flame, that inner courage. And let's check in what else we have with this card. There's still a lot of angelic energies around, so really calling on like your guides and angels at the moment to help assist. The other thing that they're showing me is that they're creating like a buffer. So if you imagine being exposed to like a high frequency electricity, and that can be quite disturbing and disorientating to the energy, I feel like the angels and guides are kind of working as a little bit of a almost like a Faraday cage, or a little bit of a shield at the moment. Oh, that's a good question. What do you do to keep your vibrations high, especially with your healing work? So even like before I set up tonight, I connect in with higher self. I put myself in a gold bubble. I ask if there's any crystals that want to come to, to be with me and support me. Hello, everyone just joining. But yeah, sometimes I'll be putting some essential oil. So tonight I actually popped on, it's a blend called Kids Calming Oil. It's like high frequency with lime and other lively things. Even though it's calm, it's still like an awakened, beautiful state that the oil invokes. I popped some of that on the base of my skull, which is, in Chinese acupuncture, we have a spot there called Gates of Consciousness. So I popped some of that there, but it really is about setting up intention. So visualizing and seeing things go well, setting the intention of the work that you do is really important, just to keep that frequency high. But also knowing that, there is times where we do feel like a little bit lower frequency, and that's okay too. It's not normal to always be trying to run at 100%, or to sort of like stimulate your body into overdrive, because this can also be taxing on the kidneys and the adrenal system, which we talk a lot in Chinese medicine. So let's go back to this middle card. Okay, so what I'm seeing is more connected with this present time. So I'm seeing the image of a cave, and I'm seeing they're showing us like for our energies to retreat, but it's like from this cave I'm having the view and the vision of the ocean. So we were talking about before, the ocean ebbing and flowing. So from this cave, it's like you're able to have a sneaky peek and see what's happening in the world, but you're not necessarily standing out in that cold, freezing ocean. You're sheltered from it. You've got your little fire inside the cave. You're warm, you're cozy. You're not getting pulled into the drama of that ebb and flow that's happening at the moment, and those peaks and falls. So let's flip this card. Oh, this is exactly what I'm talking about. So we've got the card of Dominion. This is a little bit of a crazy, out of control type energy, and a little bit fiery. And it really is sort of tapping into more of like an Aries Mars energy. So it is sometimes a little bit coercive and a little bit controlling on the mental level, and a little bit dominant and a little bit fiery. So yeah, it really is being careful of those sort of energies at the moment, and also being around those sort of personality types too. So it's accessing the blue background in this card, which when we look at this card, you'll see that the fiery sort of color may be like a little bit more dominant. It really is in the fiery sort of things that are going on, tuning into the undercurrent intuition, watery moon frequencies, and tuning into the subtle Venus energy that's there, and tuning into just staying within your own aura at the moment, and knowing like when it's safe to sort of put your toe in the water. That's a really important message for now. Let's jump into the future one and see what we get. Okay, so what I'm seeing, the difference between the first card, which was really like around solar plexus, middle card sort of coming up from heart to throat, what I'm seeing more towards this third card, which was sort of like towards the end of next week, I'm seeing it really jump back up to third eye, up to like a higher frequency. I'm seeing like a peak mental acuity, which means it's like an ideal time to bring forth and to manifest ideas. I'm also seeing things like a good time to write books, a good time to start to get your creative work out and really start to birth new things on an inner level. I'm not seeing it as a time to so much, you know, like to start businesses and things like that, but it really feels like that it's time to have that inner sort of work, to be working on it sort of in secret. So it's not to share the ideas and to physically give birth. It's like the pregnancy stage of ideas and things. We'll be picking some cards for people in a few minutes. At the moment, we're just doing the collective reading. So let's also see what comes into play here. The other thing that I hear and see is the word wisdom and intuition written over this card. So it really is contacting your own divine wisdom, and your own unique intuition for this. If you haven't really worked on this or worked on like connecting with the higher self, I would definitely recommend to pop on a meditation. I have a few meditations on Insight Timer and on Spotify. One is called Mermaids in Atlantis, which works with healing and sort of like that inner connection. You go underwater and receive a healing in a beautiful crystal healing room. Another one that I have is called Soul Star, which really connects you back to that soul energy. Oh, thanks, Sana. Yeah, so let's have a look at this. But yeah, it is about connecting back to higher self. The other thing that I'm seeing is the pathway's cleared for sort of speaking up. It's almost like it's safe to start tipping your toe outside that cave towards the end of next week. It's a little bit about starting to come out of retreat. What I'm sort of seeing is like the image of right now, it's sort of like about being a baby and nurturing. And then towards the end of next week, it's sort of like learning to walk and integrate the things that we've found within our own soul level. So yeah, it's really about putting things into action a little bit more, but slowly. They're really encouraging and saying slowly, slowly, slowly. So let's flip this card. And this is really exciting. This card is what I refer to as choose your own adventure. What this means is that you have a lot more control over your destiny. Hello, new people joining us. So yeah, towards the end of next week, it really is about not letting others kind of dictate over you, or you feel like you have no say in your destiny. It really is this coming next few days and now doing the inner work, doing the release, and working towards the point of where you start to put your plan into action. And remembering what I said before about working on ideas and things, it's not to kind of expose your secrets and your heart just yet. It's like getting to the point of where you're able to release it. But yeah, I am seeing that energy sort of come in soon where you will be able to kind of work with that a little bit more. And let's also pick a card from, but yeah, choose your own adventure card. Always a really good card. It can also mean things can go either way. So it is about like working with the ebb and flow with things, but it is also about, you know, say the option of when I psychically look at something, especially if it's like a relationship or a job or something that's like one way or the other, I always see it as a path with a fork in the road, and you can choose option A, or you can choose option B. So I see towards the end of the week, it really is being able to have your mindset choose which direction you want to go. So if you're feeling like that direction-wise, you're not sure of what's happening, next week should become just a little bit more clear. And the best way to choose the best option is to meditate and gain clarity through the week, so that when end of next week does come, you're a little bit more clear on that. So also picking a card, this one I'll just look straight at because it's different to my other deck of cards. So we've got my deck of Syrian star cards. So for this week, I want you to really focus on purpose. And we've got some light language in this. So anyone that's not familiar with light language, it is more of an ET language. And it's a language that's understood on an empathic level. So it's not a word for word translation. So it says, I connect with my higher self and remember my life purpose I chose before incarnating here on earth. So this is really about like what we're focusing on, going into this inner cave, this inner retreat. I've joked about with a few friends and on a few shows this week that it's the time to sort of be that bear and go into hibernation. Yes, very similar to Lemurian language as well. So I'm actually just going to do a little bit of light language, which is really great to center and help clear. My particular light language, some of my Japanese friends call it space talk. It really is like more of an ET language. What it does, it helps to clear frequencies and reconnect us back to more of, I guess, that higher self or the soul energy, because our souls have not always just lived here on earth. We have had other lifetimes on other planets. So if everyone wants to close their eyes and just connect into the frequencies and go into a place of the heart. Oh, beautiful. Another Syrian sister on here. Just going into a place of the heart and just really connecting back to your own breath. Some people might experience this as color, energy shift, tears. Good to see someone else has felt like a bear. Me too. It's good to have hibernation. So yeah, just closing your eyes and I'll bring through the frequency and we'll talk about it after. We'll do a translation.
Ela shoniana tatula, mahalinara arzo takarania, ela nera tokaya sonera taka, alenara tokaya nuestra laniana, mahalinera tokoya shoyal narala, ea sananera tokoya la.
What I'm seeing with that is just that image that we're really talking about before with that cave energy. It is really about getting back in touch with your higher soul energy. It's beautiful to see a few other star seeds on here. So excited. Thank you, Bailey. Nice to see that there's other star seeds out there. But what that language was really connecting us with was sort of like letting go of like those threads and entanglements that are currently inhibiting the human consciousness, resetting the original blueprint for who we are, not just as souls, but on a humanitarian level. So it's almost like untangling us so that we can go and be a lot more free to do our work. So let's jump in and thank you, Karen, that's beautiful. Please let me know if there's any feelings or emotions that brought up for any of you too, or if some people sometimes feel like their soul recognizes the language. Sometimes it will also trigger people speaking their own language. So please share that with me too. You can contact me through Facebook, Solreta Antaria, also through my website as well. You'll find me on Instagram. Basically, if you Google my name, you'll be able to find me. Also on Spiritual Events Directory. So yeah, let's dive in. Let's pick some cards for people. So now is the time. Oh, thank you, Karen. That's so beautiful. That's so true, Andrea. We are timeless. So now is the time if people have any questions. Hi, Natasha. Nice to see you on here. Yes, it is very elfish-like as well. Oh, thank you, Sarah. Hi, Jess. Good to see you on here. Okay, so any family members from the other side, and would love to know anything in regards to your business. Another star seed here. Perfect. Let's have a look at that, Keisha. Okay, straight away, like as soon as I start to shuffle and connecting with your energy, Keisha, I'm seeing, I would call it like it's like midway between the earth and the heavens. I'm seeing a template set up. I'm also seeing a light grid. It looks to me like a star grid. If I was to look at it in terms of like the cards that I have here, it's the card of Wheel of Fortune is the energy imprint that I'm seeing. I'm really seeing it's like with your work, tuning in and tapping in and bringing through those higher frequencies, and really knowing that like the work that you do is not just earth work. It's like whatever you're doing, whatever line of work it is, you're actually bringing through and connecting with people at a much higher frequency. So it's like you may have someone, even if it's just say like a day-to-day job, you might still find that you come in and get people come up to you that, you know, will just sort of like expose their whole life story to you. That's sort of like what I'm seeing with that, but we'll pick a card on that. Big thing they're saying though, I keep hearing them say, it's the word template energy. So looking at like what template energy represents and means to you. I'm just hearing them say that. Let's have a shuffle. Also seeing a lot of gold and purple energy with that as well. So it's a lot of higher frequency. There's a little bit of Saint Germain purifying energy. So even calling on him with his purple flame and letting him burn away anything that is no longer needed. Oh, good to hear that you're feeling that as well. Thank you, Keisha, and thank you, Julie. Yeah, so tuning in, meditating even on the frequency of the word template. So let's pick a card to look into it more. What I'm also seeing when I'm starting to feel the energy of this card is with the template, I'm seeing other things come up that are putting it in a juxtaposition or feeling like it's putting things out of alignment. So holding your frequency, holding your energy in relation to your template, and what does it mean to hold the energy and frequency of your template? Oh, that's so beautiful. I can feel that energy of the beach, Natasha, that you're talking about. That is just gorgeous. Really feel that energy coming through. So let's have a look into this. So Keisha, I'm really seeing like a lot of ET energies working around you. It's not even just one particular type. I'm seeing like multiple different races of ET energy. Hello, Julia. Nice to see you on here. And Andrea. Yeah, so looking at your team, I'm hearing the words network. You've got a different ET guide that's coming through for each particular area of your life. They're talking about like one stepping forward when it's to do with work, one stepping forward to do with relationship, one stepping forward to do with study. They're showing me many different things almost being juggled at the moment. So it's like there's so much going on that they're talking about. It's time to meditate, feel that template over the body. I'm just going to tune into the card. They're talking about like really clearing out anything that's not of need in this template anymore, because there's like multiple frequencies going on. Let's have a look. Okay, what I'm also hearing is like sound healing. So I'm not sure if you're doing any work with like Reiki or energy or sound healing, but I'm seeing those kind of modalities being really good for you. Oh, that's cool. That's good confirmation for me as well that you're also feeling that. So yeah, bringing back to the core of yourself, bringing back your energy, making sure that you're not giving to too many people at the moment too. So let's just see what else we've got with this card. Just seeing like lots of stars, lots of planets. So even visualizing yourself, the template energy, and also the energy that's being infused and imbued in that template, connecting into the different stars, the planets, your ET races. Let's flip this card and see what we get. So we've got the Priestess of Disc. This is really connected with standing in your power, writing your own rules. It's a little bit of a topsy-turvy picture. We've got the trees that are sort of growing upside down. We've got the yin-yang. So why it's about balance. Oh, cool, you read tarot and you're a hairdresser. Perfect. So you really are working within that counseling sort of healing field. This is, it's so funny because this card to me represents doing things your own way. It's not about doing things in the norm. So you might even find that you do attract some tarot clients. I'm seeing this as it's stepping out into the water. There's a lot of mermaid energy with this as well. So noticing when you're standing in your ET version of yourself, noticing like what clients you're able to kind of open up and vibe with and have that like vibrational frequency or sync moments with. You'll know like which clients you can talk to about this sort of energy. I'm seeing this and they're showing me like the energy of like pulling the energy in. It's really about you stepping forth into who you are. This really is, it's sort of like a make or break type time. Yes, it is like the, Andrea is saying, is it like the star? That's the energy that I saw before, was the star card. So it is like channeling your gifts through this template and onto the earth. So that definitely does apply to this too. The other thing that we're seeing too is not being afraid to speak your voice and speak your truth. So I hope this helps. I do go more into things in the one-on-one readings. It's literally an hour of just full-blown information and tapping into different things. So being able to ask the questions you want to ask. It does look into what colors are in your aura, what guides are around you, and I do draw the aura drawings. So yeah, let's just have a look. Okay, so Sarah, you're asking, would love a card for direction to help with grief. Okay, important. Let's have a shuffle with that. What I'm really feeling is a lot of blue over the heart energy. I'm seeing hands being placed over your heart. So there's one on the front, one on the back. The other thing that I'm having sort of be triggered is a sneeze-like feeling, or almost like an allergic type feeling. I'm not sure if you've been experiencing a little bit of like allergies at the moment, but I'm feeling like sneezing. Excuse me. And come on to do with this. It feels more energetic. What I'm seeing with this, when we do get things like that, sometimes it's a little bit of our psychic senses being awakened, because our psychic senses are seated within the sinuses. This is like where our spiritual anatomy is sort of housed or held. Thank you, Keisha. So yeah, I feel like that with the grieving side of things, one hand over the heart, but they're also, I'm hearing this voice say it really is time to look into your psychic senses so that you can feel that energy around you. Let me just see what energy we get. What I'm really feeling too is a quietening down. There's a real period of almost like an isolation and really kind of just shutting people out a little bit, but it feels like just so that you can step into calmer waters, and also kind of like look at the emotions around what's happening and just like to process things. That's what I feel like, that it's a time of processing, and really feeling that blue energy that's being held with the hands over the heart. So let's have a look at that. That thing that they keep showing me is like tapping on the third eye. So feeling like there's something that's coming, that's waking up that third eye. They're also talking about not being afraid of what you see. So if that has been a fear in the past of not being 100% sure if you want to see something, or if you want to experience something on more of a psychic level, just looking at why there might be fears around that, and also what it is that you need to heal and work with letting that go. So let's flip this card. And this is interesting. We've got the card of the Magnus here. So it's like there is a lot available to you at the moment. There is a lot of kind of like juggling type energies, which is possibly why they were showing us this blue energy. And this is sort of almost like the internet, or like the web that kind of connects us all on a psychic and emotional and spiritual level. So this is probably also why they were talking about just stepping back for now and really focusing on that energy of the heart. And really it's about putting down, you know, all those things and not having to juggle right now. That's the energy that I'm feeling. And we've also got, if you can see at the top of this card, we've got the Kundalini energy of the snake here, which is sort of centered around this psychic side of things too, and that crown activation. It also is about utilizing and looking into you having a certain type of talent or skill set, and this being a time to kind of like work on that. A little bit of distraction too is what I'm seeing from like the emotional grieving stage, but it feels like it's really good for your soul to have that hobby or that task and to work on those psychic skills too. So I hope that helps. So let's look in for another question. Okay, so we've got Michelle. You're saying, hi, would love a card, feeling at a crossroad with career and relationship right now. Thank you. So I did sort of mention a little bit of that before in the collective reading, so you can go back and have a look at that. That does apply to the current astrological phases that we're going through. But let's have a pick of a card. So what I'm seeing with this is the moon energy that we talked about before. Let's have a look. And it's funny, just as I put the cards down, it's like the whole deck wants to jump out. It's like there's so many energies and things kind of flowing at the moment, but it is really paying attention to those cycles and times. So let's have a look. Okay. I do feel that the heart rules you a lot more. So it's like, if we were to pick a scale of like what comes in terms of importance, the heart and relationships does feel like when those things are kind of flowing right, other things feel like they're right in life. So it's like if relationships are kind of sorted, other things in life tend to fall in place. The other thing to be careful of with that is to not put too much energy into relationships, because then you tend to kind of like let other areas of your life go a little bit, is what I'm seeing with this. So we'll flip the card. We've got the card of cruelty at the moment, which is like a little bit of Mars energy. It is like a little bit of feeling like there's sharp words or sharp implements or sharp things that are said. If this is the case, it is sort of like about wound repair at this particular time, like we were talking about before, feeling like, you know, that to retreat, look after yourself. It's time to kind of like lick the wounds. It isn't a time to really fight back, because like the waters and everything are so crazy and turbulent right now that it would drain a lot of your energy. You need that energy at the moment to focus on yourself, to focus on your mission, to focus on your purpose, and to focus on work and career. It does, like I do see what you were saying before about that fork in the road with career. It does feel like a time to really like prepare. I'm seeing the information in that being written as a little bit of a book. But it's like the book is not to be published just yet. So it's to get the ideas, write your pros and cons list for each sector of your life, looking at, they're showing me a pie chart. So it might even be looking at where, like breaking your life up into a pie chart of percentages and looking at how much you're applying. And I'm getting taps on tingles on the top of my head. We've got Archangel Michael working with you specifically around this, especially to do with healing. So looking at the sectors and what energy you're applying to what parts of your life. So yeah, I hope that helps. Please, if you would like a reading, you can contact me through Facebook. I do have an online booking calendar on my website, which if you Google my name, my website will come up. So it's Solreta Antaria, which is Solreta. Let's also pick a card. Sana, I saw your name pop up a few times. If you could please type in what it was that you were asking. I think you were asking for a little bit of purpose and direction. Thank you, Michelle. So let's have a look. I feel like it really is looking into like a bit of spiritual direction. So let's have a look at that. I feel like spiritual direction for you, the word that they're saying is like guides, and they're saying the word governance as well, or governing. So it's like when you get things right on a spiritual level, there's that trickle down effect. Hi, Alison. So they're really looking at like what it is that you can do to increase that spiritual connectivity and that spiritual connection. I'm seeing it's like when you set your sights high, you literally go like out of planet and off world. It's like you don't aim for low. It's like you aim for higher than high, is what they're showing me in as far as like frequency and insights and things. But there is the tendency to sometimes it's almost like shooting yourself in the foot, or like aiming super high, and then if things don't meet your needs or expectations, it kind of brings your frequency down a little bit. So what I'm seeing is really just keeping and working out a way to kind of like force field your frequency and keep yourself in that bubble and that highness, and not let others drain your energy, is what I'm getting come up with this. I'm also seeing a lot of blue Arcturian being energy around you, one very tall one, particularly that's on your right hand side that's working with you. There is a lot of like hand modes and finger modes that I'm seeing connected with Arcturian energy. It's like so high frequency, which is what I was saying before with going off world and things. Oh, hey Alison. Okay, so let's see what we get with this. It's so funny with the energies with this. I'm hearing more ET language than I'm even hearing like physical earth language. I'm really seeing this being like your first connection, your first sort of dialogue, and even more fluent than the earth language. So it is about like looking into that, but it's also about calming that frequency, calming and integrating those ET energies as well, is what I'm seeing with this. So really like learning how to turn that high frequency into medicine for yourself. And it really is about just, it's you sort of dictating to them rather than them dictating to you. So always checking that they're working for your best and highest good and that they love you unconditionally. Let's flip this card. Oh, this is cool. So this is pretty much what I was just saying then. We've got this card of satiety. The orange in the background can sometimes represent like a high energy connection consciousness. We've got the Christ consciousness energy in here. The gold energy of the cups is really about like a template that you're born with, a purity. And what's coming from these cups and flowing into it is a light that's coming through from like a higher divine energy. Oh, nice. We've got a local here, Ashburton. Hi, Nikki. Thank you, Andrea. So it really is about flowing this spiritual light into your body temple, into this template. Tonight, the word template is something that they're saying. So I feel like even though we've used the word template for a few of the individual readings, it's looking at your body as a template at the moment. By that, they're also talking about the laying on of crystals. So if you feel drawn to, especially with this new moon, doing a laying on session of crystals or holding crystals and meditating, I feel like this is super important at the moment. The other thing that we've got in this card is a little bit of Mars energy as well, which is what I was saying before about, just being careful to not go to a frequency where you feel so high that others bring you back down if they're kind of like out of that frequency. It really is like just maintaining and regulating a frequency and popping yourself in that force field. So I'm seeing it's like when the spiritual side is in flow and in tune, other areas of your life tend to fall into place as well. So I hope that helps. Let's pick another card for... Okay, so Jessica Antaria, you're saying that you would love some guidance at the moment, feeling very stuck with everything. So this is also what we're talking about to do with like the planetary side of things. I'm getting Jupiter come up a lot, very strong for you. So Jupiter, I think we've just had a Jupiter retrograde as well, or there's a lot of Jupiter energy coming up, but I'm feeling the feeling of Jupiter drawing back. So Jupiter is an planet that is about expansion. It's about doing things, putting it out in a big way. Also can be connected sometimes to do with finances and things as well. So let's have a look at what card comes up to do with that. So remembering before that we were talking about that cave and, the ebbs and flows and things. Oh, you're welcome, Sana. Sending you lots of love. So let's have a look. Okay, what I'm also seeing is a little bit of anxiety coming up for you, and it's almost like trying to catch up with my breath. I'm also seeing this anxiety come up to do with things that are how would I say? Other frequencies. So things like EMF and electricity and unnatural environments coming up, affecting your energy and draining and making you feel possibly like a little bit more tired and a little bit more stuck and a little bit of what I would call like an electromagnetic smog or a brain fog. So that sort of energy coming up as well, which sort of makes it's like the image I'm seeing is, like when you have a race with race horses and all the horses are in the gates and that gun is fired or the doors are open, but it's almost like not starting or feeling like there's something holding you back, whether it's energetic or whether it's like a timing thing. I'm feeling like anxiety sort of is governing this a little bit at the moment, or fear and doubt preventing you from sort of like stepping forward, or where you are stepping forward there's like a little bit of a blocked energy. So let's have a look at this card. I do feel that the planets are affecting this at the moment too. It's funny, the first thing that they're showing me in order to thank you for the confirmation, Jessica. The first thing that they're showing me in order to sort of like clear this and to start to like remove that veil and that energy so that you can get back to working with what it is that you create, because you have so many ideas. You're such like a creative soul, but I'm seeing it, they're showing me the word like entrepreneur. I'm seeing it as a very like, I'm seeing you in a suit, like a corporate type, and it's almost like this is like within your element. It's like you do have the ability to shine. So it is like a little bit frustrating with things happening at the moment, because you do know that you can and do deserve success, but just know that this is the time to sort of like breathe, like connect into your soul. Let's flip this card. We've got the card of luxury, which is all this sort of like corporate type energy, this, you know, like a taste for the finer things in life. The blue represents a clearness and a clarity of emotions. This is the time to like clear your waters, clear your emotions, feel like this higher spiritual energy coming in. We've got the beautiful lotus flower at the top of the spiritual aspect of the card, flooding light and filling up your template and your cup. So it's knowing that like you are destined for great things. I would love to hear more about that. Yeah, like I said before, if anyone did want to do a reading, I do the 1 hour readings where we look more into the aura and what's currently happening. And depending on the placement of where colors are within the aura, or in Jessica, I do feel that there's a lot of pink around your heart chakra at the moment. The pink that I'm picking up on is what I would call like an inner child pink. So thinking about your creativity and what you want to throw into work and into business from a creative point of view of that inner child, and what nurtures and like excites you and sort of like propels you forward. And that's like a good direction to go with working with business. Oh, Bailey, I did sort of like tap into and work with your question, and it's going to be appearing in the magazine for Spiritual Events Directory this month, but I will also send you a copy of it too, because I know that it's hard to wait for that. Hi Katie, nice to see you here. I miss you. So let's also pick up on, let me see if I can tap into this without turning this off. Oh, Kim, so would be grateful for insights or messages for you to do with my son, work, study, and relationships. Let's pick a card for you. The color that I do see with you is an electric blue at the moment, which is interesting. We're having a few come up with a lot of frequency type stuff at the moment. You're welcome, Jessica. Thank you so much. It was a joy to read for you as well. So yeah, the energy that I do see come up to do with yourself and with your son at the moment, I'm seeing a lot of high energy frequency, but it's almost like a pot that's like boiling on the stove, and it's almost like a little bit about not wanting that to boil over. I'm seeing that energy come up to do with your son. So I feel like it's like finding things and ways to help him sort of like calm and to help like manage his energy. I'm seeing things like that at the moment. Different things like flower essences, and it's also like he's very kind of like sensitive to surroundings and to other energies is what I'm feeling and picking up on. So knowing how he can sort of like shield and buffer from that. Let's have a look at that card. Okay, again, it really is about like centering and connecting with that breath. Let's flip this card over. This is interesting. We do have the card of sorrow. When I get this come up though, I see it as a little bit of a blocked throat chakra. So really, this I'm feeling is more to do with you, this card. I feel like it's not the particular time to sort of be voicing things up or starting any kind of like arguments or things at the moment, but it is the time to journal. It is the time to kind of like work through and either be your own kind of like detective to do with like emotions. And when an emotion comes up, going, all right, this might be like a conscious emotion, but what is the subconscious underlying emotion of this? And then when you get that other emotion come up, all right, what is this, the underlying subconscious emotion of this? It's like sort of pegging down the ladder and looking at like, what is that core emotion? What is the root wound or emotion connected with that? I'm seeing that sort of like detective work, whether like you sort of like step into more like looking into counseling and things like that. I just feel like when you kind of get to the emotions, and it's like you're able to breathe easy and put things aside and able to focus more clearly on like work and direction, because I feel like sometimes it's hard to work when emotions are coming up. So we do have time probably for one little question. Okay, so that is a great question, Chelsea. Hi, I recently receiving a message from Spirit. How do I trust that it's not just my mind chatter? That is such a great question, and I really think that that is a question that can help a lot of us. So let's pick a card to do with that. I find myself personally that I pop myself into a little golden bubble, feel like that I'm really consciously not allowing anything into my space that's not there for my best and highest good. When my guides come up, I do also check in that they love me unconditionally. You're welcome, Kim. Check that they love me unconditionally or that they're there for my best and highest good. I always ask them 3 times or more. And if they are from the light and working for your best and highest good, they're not going to get bothered by you asking them over and over and over. I can see others are also, yeah, Bailey, it is a great question, isn't it? So yeah, don't worry about like irritating or annoying your guides or spirit. If they are there for your best and highest good, they're going to have your best interests at heart. You could ask them 1,000 times all day and they're not going to get tired or bored with it. So really like trusting into your heart and your frequency. Anything that's not of your best and highest good, telling it that it must leave now. I also will visualize a beautiful white or golden column of light and seeing that energy being almost like a direct lift or elevator or chute sucking straight up back into source so that energy can be transformed. Also letting anything of lower vibration or negativity know that it does not have power over you and that you are a sovereign being of light is another thing or a statement that you can use. Also there is various clearing techniques like sage and working with different verses of protection. Some people might go more for like your calling on beings that are more like Christian deities like Jesus, or some might also find different things. One of my favorite ones that I play is if you type Kadosh 3 times into YouTube, which is Kadoish into YouTube, you'll have a chant come up which is Kadosh, 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 Adonai, Sebaoth, and it is the frequency and chant that you can say over and over again. And I find that this just like clears space. If ever I've had any negative energies around or entities or different beings kind of popping in, this is something that I play and I blast quite loudly and clear house with that. So let's pick a card to do with this. The other thing is practice is what they're showing me in regards to this. So learning about your psychic senses, which I will be doing a full workshop on Spiritual Events Directory for the expo. It's going to be on the 24th of May and it will be running, I think, about 1:40 in the afternoon. So please, if you don't have access to the internet at that time or you're not able to make that, it can be purchased later through Spiritual Events Directory. I think it's a really, really low cost that they're charging for that, but you will have full access to everything. So let's have a look into that. So we're seeing a lot of blue around the psychic senses, and I will be teaching more in depth about the spiritual anatomy with the psychic senses and how this looks, feels, and how we utilize it, and working out which is our strongest psychic sense. It is a really deep passion of mine to help people discover this. So let's flip the card because we don't have much time left. So we've got this card, the card of prudence. What I see with this is almost like a seed being planted. Oh, Jay, I just thought that you lost connection. It will be up again later, so you will be able to replay this from the Spiritual Events Directory. With the color of yellow connected with this, I always see this yellow, and when it's got the gold in it specifically. Oh, thanks, Bailey. So it's $11.11 to purchase for the expo coming up with lifetime access. Thank you for that. So yeah, with knowing like how to trust your guides or your higher self, it really is just about learning. And it is about getting used to different frequencies. When I work with the guides in an aura drawing session and we draw them in, I will always check in, if they are there for your best and highest good. We'll also be working with a name for the guides. So guides and, beings and energies that are working with us and guiding us don't always have a name because they do connect more on frequency. But for our human consciousness and our human mind, a lot of them do give us a name or a vibrational frequency to kind of like lock our networks together, or like a Skype call, a phone number to sort of like form a bridge or a pathway in connection. But yeah, I do see the more that you work with that energy and tap into it, it's like that's going to bud open and going to prosper and going to flower. So let me know how you go with that. Also contact me for tips and things, but yeah, there'll be more information to do with that in the Spiritual Events Directory Expo. So let's pick a final card to do with this week. So this one is like a collective finish because we've literally got one. Yes, I do aura drawings. There's more information on my website and Facebook page and Instagram. So the card coming up for the week, and what I'm feeling is it just feels like I'm seeing steps, but steps inside the heart, and I feel like that it's like coming up out of that cave. I did have this come up for a client through the week too, a golden rope that is like pulling, and we're pulling ourselves up out of the cave, and it is the card of willpower. So it says, only you can make things happen. Align yourself with that which keeps you motivated and empowered. So I'd love you all to work on that this week. Thank you so much for tuning in and sending all my love to you all. And yeah, if you want to like share and please feel free. But yeah, I'll see you next week, Thursday 6 till 7.